So here's a conversation I have probably 3 times a week. Someone messages me, they say, "Hey Jess, I'm looking for a home on Castle Rock." Great, I love that. And then I ask them the question that changes almost everything. What kind of waterfront are you looking for? And they almost always pause, because most people think waterfront is just one thing. You're on the water or you're not. Simple, right? Not even close. Castle Rock Lake has at least 5 totally different types of waterfront living, and they are not the same. They're not even in the same universe in terms of lifestyle, price, rules, and who they're right for. If you buy the wrong type for your situation, you're going to be frustrated. If you buy the right type, it'll feel like the best decision you've ever made. So today I'm walking through all 5, what they actually look like, what they cost, who each one is for, and the one thing nobody tells you about each type until it's too late. Let's get into it. I'm Jess Kayhart with Castle Rock Realty. I help buyers find lake homes around Castle Rock Lake and Lake Petenwell. Mostly people coming up from Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, second home buyers looking for a place that actually makes sense. And I want to warn you up front, this video might ruin a couple of properties you've already saved on Zillow. Because once you understand these 5 types of property, you're going to look at listings differently. You're going to know what questions to ask, and you're probably going to realize that the type of waterfront you thought you wanted isn't actually the best fit for you. Here are the 5 types of waterfront homes on Castle Rock Lake. All right, let's go through them in order, from most control to least maintenance. Type 1, you have owned frontage on Castle Rock Lake. This is the full control option. Let's start at the top. This is what most people picture when they think lake house. You own the land all the way down to the water. The shoreline is yours. You can put in whatever dock you want, as big as you want, as many slips as you want. Want a T-dock with room for the pontoon, the ski boat, and the 2 jet skis? Go for it. Want to put in a stone seawall? Your call. Want to rake the shoreline or add a sandy beach? That's up to you. This is the maximum control option. Nobody tells you what you can and can't do with your waterfront. You're not sharing a pier. You're not dealing with an HOA's dock committee. You look out your window and everything between you and the water is yours. Now, obviously, this comes at a premium. Owned frontage on Castle Rock Lake, especially a nice stretch of shoreline with good water depth and a southern or western exposure, is the most expensive way to buy. It's also the hardest to find because there's only so much shoreline, and once it's gone, it's gone. So who is this for? The buyer who wants total autonomy, the person who wants to customize their waterfront experience, the person who doesn't want anyone else touching their dock or telling them what color their pier has to be. If you're the kind of person who cringes at the words HOA, this is probably your type. The thing nobody tells you, with total control comes total responsibility. If a storm takes out your dock, that's on you to fix. If the shoreline erodes, you're managing that. And if you want to install a boat lift, you're pulling the permits and hiring the contractor. Owned frontage is the top of the food chain, but you have to want the maintenance that comes with it. Type 2, the power company strip, lakefront with a twist. Okay, this is the one that confuses people the most. And if you've been looking at listings around Castle Rock Lake or Lake Petenwell, you've probably seen it and not realized what you were looking at. Here's how it works. On a lot of Castle Rock Lake shoreline and Lake Petenwell shoreline, there's a roughly 100-foot strip of land between the homes and the water that is owned by the Wisconsin River Power Company. It's not owned by the homeowner. It's not owned by the HOA. It's owned by the power company. Now, before you panic, the homeowner still has access to the water. You walk across that strip and you are at the lake. And most of these properties are part of an HOA that manages a cluster pier system. So instead of having your own private dock right in front of your house, you have a designated slip in a shared pier that's maintained by the HOA. But what does that actually look like in practice? You get a boat slip. The HOA handles all the dock maintenance, pulling it out in the fall, putting it back in the spring, repairs, all of it. You don't have to think about any of that. You just show up, walk down to your slip, and go boating. The trade-off is you don't control the waterfront. You can't build your own dock. You can't modify the shoreline. You're working within the HOA's system. Now, who is this for? This is actually a really smart option for a specific type of buyer. The person who wants a true lakefront home, you're right on the water, you have the view, you have the access, but doesn't want the headache of dock maintenance and shoreline management. It's ownership without the waterfront chores. It's also often more affordable than owned frontage because you're not paying for the land all the way to the water's edge. You're paying for the home and the view and the HOA managed access. Here's the thing no one tells you. Read the HOA documents carefully. Understand exactly what you're allowed to do on that power company strip. Can you put chairs down, a fire pit, a small storage box for lake toys? It varies. Some HOAs are more relaxed, some are strict. Know before you buy. Type 3, the private lake with big lake access, the best of both worlds. All right, this is my personal favorite, and I'm not alone. This is the setup that makes a lot of my Illinois buyers' eyes light up when they first see it. Here's how it works. Around Castle Rock Lake, there are these private, man-made lakes, smaller bodies of water, anywhere from maybe 20 acres up to 120 acres. They're designed specifically for the communities around them. Every home has a private sandy beach on this private lake. The water is crystal clear. The bottom is sandy, not mucky, not weedy, and the slope is shallow and gradual. What does that mean in real life? It means your kids or grandkids can wade in safely. They can splash around right off your back porch without you worrying about a steep drop-off or heavy boat traffic. It means you can paddleboard or kayak or float in a tube without a wake boat buzzing past you. It's peaceful, calm, and controlled. And here's the best part. These communities also have deeded access to a boat slip on Castle Rock Lake. So when you want the big lake experience, tubing, water skiing, fishing on 16,000 acres of open water, you just head over to your slip and you are on the 4th largest lake in Wisconsin in about 5 minutes. It's like having two completely different lake experiences attached to the same property. The quiet, private lake for relaxation and swimming, the big recreational lake for boating and adventure. You do not have to choose. Places like Copper Point, Stonegate, Clearwater, Half Moon Bay, Odell's Bay, Northern Bay. These are all built around this concept, and a lot of them have clubhouses, pools, fitness centers, community spaces. It's a lifestyle package, not just a house. And who is this for? I mean, really, for anyone, but especially for families with young kids, grandparents who want the grandkids to visit, anyone who wants the swimming experience to be safe and easy, but still wants access to the big lake. And honestly, a lot of buyers who come from the Chicago suburbs love this setup because it feels familiar. It's like a lake community with amenities, which is closer to what they're used to, but the setting is 100 times better. And here's the thing no one tells you. There are HOA dues, and sometimes, depending on the community, 2 sets of them. One for the private lake community and one for the Castle Rock boat slip. It's not a deal breaker, but you want to know those numbers going in so there are no surprises. Type number 4, the condo on Castle Rock Lake. Lock it and leave it. All right, let's talk about condos. And I know for some of you, the word condo makes you think of a high-rise in the city. That's not what we're talking about. On Castle Rock Lake and Lake Petenwell, you can find waterfront condos, often townhouse style, sometimes single level, that are right on the water. Big windows, lake views, walkout patios or decks. And here's what makes the condo model interesting for a lake property. You don't maintain anything on the outside. That means no mowing, no landscaping, no dock pulling or dock placement, no roof repairs, no painting, no gutter cleaning. The HOA handles all the exterior maintenance. Your boat slip is part of the HOA. You show up, you unlock the door, you walk to your slip, and you are on the water. When you leave on Sunday, you lock the door and that's it. You don't worry about whether the dock is secure. You don't worry about who's going to mow while you are gone. You don't worry about a tree limb coming down in a storm. This is ideal for the buyer who wants maximum lake time with minimum lake chores. The couple who travels a lot. The buyer who knows they'll be gone for weeks at a time and doesn't want property to become a source of stress. It's also a great entry point for someone who wants to test the lake life waters without jumping into full ownership with all the maintenance that comes with it. And here's the thing no one tells you. The HOA fees are higher. You're paying for all that maintenance and convenience. And there are association rules about rentals, pet noise, parking.
You're sharing walls with neighbors. If you're someone who values privacy above all else, a condo may not be your happy place. But if you value convenience and you want to spend your weekends on the water instead of at Home Depot, this may be exactly right for you. Type number 5. Land, privacy, and deeded boat slip access. No waterfront, no problem. Okay, this last one surprises people because on the surface it sounds like a downgrade, but for the right buyer, it's actually the smartest play on the lake. Here's the concept. You buy a home on more land. Could be an acre, could be 5, could be 10, in an area near Castle Rock Lake. There's no water in your backyard. You are not looking at the lake from your living room. But, and this is the key, you have deeded access to a boat slip on Castle Rock Lake. It's yours. It's attached to the property. Nobody can take it away. So what do you get? You get privacy, real privacy. You're not in a dense lakefront development. You're not looking at your neighbor's deck. You have woods, acreage, and space to spread out. Maybe you want a big garden or you want a pole barn for all of your toys. Maybe you just don't want to see or hear anyone when you're sitting on your porch, but you still get the lake. You drive your golf cart or your truck 5 minutes down to your slip, hop on the boat, and you're on Castle Rock Lake. The experience on the water is exactly the same as the person who paid twice as much for owned frontage. And that's the thing. You're paying significantly less. No waterfront premium on the purchase price. No waterfront premium on the taxes. Lower carrying costs all around. You're putting your money into land and privacy and a paid-off boat slip instead of into shoreline frontage. So who's this for? This is for the buyer who values privacy more than a water view from the bedroom window. The person who wants acreage, maybe for ATVs or hunting, or just not being able to see another house. The buyer who'd rather have 10 acres and a 5-minute drive to the slip than a postage stamp lot on the water with neighbors on both sides. And the thing that no one tells you, you have to be okay with the fact that when people visit, they can't walk out your back door and jump in a lake. That 5-minute drive is real. For some people, that's nothing. For others, it breaks this fantasy of being on the water. Only you know which one you are. But for the buyer who values land and privacy above the immediate backyard water connection, this is often the best value on Castle Rock Lake. How do you choose? Let's look at the 5 types side by side. All right, let's put these 5 types next to each other so you can see them all at once. Type 1, you've got the owned frontage. Maximum control, maximum cost. Your dock, your rules, your maintenance. For the buyer who wants total autonomy and is willing to pay for it and maintain it. Type 2, power company strip with an HOA pier. It's lakefront living without waterfront chores. The HOA manages the docks. You get the view, the access, and someone else handles spring and fall dock work. For the buyer who wants the lakefront lifestyle without the waterfront to-do list. Type 3, private lake with big lake access. The best of both worlds option. Sandy beach, shallow water, and safe swimming on your private lake. Boat slip on Castle Rock for the big water, for families and for anyone who wants 2 different lake experiences from one property. Type 4, condo on the lake. Lock it and leave it. 0 exterior maintenance, boat slip included, for the buyer who values convenience above all else and wants lake time, not shore time. Type 5, land with deeded slip access. Maximum privacy, maximum land, minimum cost. No water view from the house, but full lake access when you want it. For the buyer who'd rather have acreage and seclusion than immediate waterfront. None of these are the best. There's no best. There's only which one fits your life. The way you will actually use the property. Your budget, your tolerance for maintenance, and how you want to spend your weekends. And honestly, one of the most valuable things I do as an agent is help buyers figure out which type they really want, because a lot of people come in thinking they want type 1 and leave realizing type 3 or type 5 is actually perfect for them, or vice versa. So here's what I want you to do. Take a second and think about which of these 5 types actually sounds like you. Not the one that sounds the most impressive to tell your friends about, the one that matches how you will actually use a lake home. Now, if you want to see what's actually available right now in that category, real listings, real numbers, no fluff, DM me right here on YouTube or Instagram or wherever you're watching. Tell me which type you're leaning toward and I'll help you understand what's out there, what fits your budget, and what the next steps look like. You can also reach out to schedule a buyer consultation. No pressure, no commitment, just a conversation to help you make a smart decision, whether that happens next month or next year. And if you want more content like this, market breakdowns, property tours, and stuff that actually helps you figure out your next move, hit subscribe. I'm Jess Kayhart with Castle Rock Realty. Thanks for watching. Oh, go figure out which type you are, and I'll see you at the lake.